We hear about these incredible, groundbreaking AI models all the time. The algorithms, the processing power, it's amazing. But what if the single biggest reason they succeed or fail is something we barely ever talk about? Well, today, we're digging into that hidden flaw in AI. It's data. So let's just start with the big question on everyone's mind. With all this money, all this brain power being poured into AI, why do so many projects just fizzle out? They get delayed, the results are all over the place, or they just completely fall flat. What is going on here?
And here's the thing that might surprise you. More often than not, the problem isn't the super complex AI model. Nope, it's the fuel that we're putting into the engine. At the end of the day, it's almost always a data problem.
All right, so let's pull back the curtain on this. We're about to uncover AI's dirty little secret. The root cause that quietly sabotages so many of these ambitious projects from the inside out.
Okay, so meet the villain of our story, unverified data. The best way to think about it is this. It's like trying to build a giant skyscraper on a foundation of sand. It just doesn't matter how brilliant your blueprint is. If that base isn't solid, the whole thing is coming down. We're talking about data where you have no idea where it came from, no proof that it's accurate, and absolutely no way to trace its history.
And you can see how this stuff just snowballs. We're talking about what seem like tiny little flaws. A few duplicated records here, some mislabeled images there, maybe some questionable info scraped from the web. But these aren't just minor hiccups. Each one feeds into the system, and they all cascade, creating this huge tangled mess. And that is what leads the AI to make unpredictable and honestly just plain wrong decisions.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. This isn't some fringe theory. Major research from huge institutions like McKinsey and Stanford's AI Institute flat out confirms it. They've documented that poor data quality directly tanks accuracy and pushes project timelines way back. This is a real, widespread, and proven problem.
So, if the problem is bad data, what's the actual damage? Well, it's so much more than just getting a wrong answer from your AI. The consequences are incredibly expensive and damaging in ways that most companies just never see coming.
This really highlights that gap between what companies think they're going to pay for and what they actually end up paying for. Everyone budgets for the obvious stuff, right? Compute power, talented developers, data storage. But the hidden costs from using unverified data, that's where the real pain is. We're talking about endless cycles of retraining your models, failing audits, getting hit with massive regulatory fines, and damaging your company's reputation, which is something you can't just buy back.
You can really boil this whole impact down to three main things. First, you lose a ton of efficiency. Your smartest people are stuck just cleaning up data messes instead of building the next big thing. Second, you take on this huge compliance risk because you can't prove to regulators where any of your data came from. And third, and this might be the most important one, you just completely erode trust. If people can't trust the output of your AI, it's basically worthless.
Okay, so that's the problem. And yeah, it's a big one. But, and this is a big but, there is a really powerful solution. And it's all about flipping the entire script. So it's time to introduce the hero of our story, verified metadata. I mean, look at this. The difference is just night and day. On the left, you've got the unverified pipeline. It's a total black box. It's risky, it's inconsistent, it's impossible to audit. But when you build your pipeline with verified metadata, the whole thing just transforms. Suddenly it's auditable, it's consistent, it's reliable, and it's transparent. You're not building on sand anymore. You're building on solid bedrock. So how does this actually work in practice? Well, it's a pretty logical step-by-step process. First, you confirm the source of every single piece of data. That's called provenance. Then you validate that information to make sure it's accurate and has the right context. This automatically creates a transparent audit trail, which then leads to a huge improvement in your model's accuracy because you're finally feeding it clean, reliable fuel right from the very start.
And look, this isn't just some technical fix. This is about fundamentally building a foundation of trust right into the DNA of our AI systems. And this idea, it's gaining some serious traction all over the world.
In fact, you've got major international bodies like the OECD identifying transparency and verifiability as essential for responsible AI. This is quickly becoming the new global standard. It's not a nice-to-have feature anymore, it's an absolute must-have. So what does a system that actually does this look like? Let's take a look at a real-world example of how these principles are put into action, something called a verifiable data protocol. A system like this is designed to do one thing, and do it really, really well.
create that solid foundation. It doesn't actually train the AI model itself. Instead, it produces these structured, verifiable data sets that come with a transparent audit trail built right in. Then, any AI system can use that data with confidence. It basically ensures every single data point has a clear history and proven integrity. It's the infrastructure that trust is built on.
So, as we start to wrap this up, the message here is pretty clear. The future of AI, the kind that's reliable, scalable, and actually trustworthy, it's not about having bigger models or faster processors. If there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. Reliable AI depends on verifiable data, not on assumptions. For way too long, the entire field has just run on assumptions and educated guesses, and now we're all paying the price. The future of AI has to be built on proof, on provenance, and on verifiable truth.
And that really leaves us all with one final critical question to think about. Whether you're building AI, buying AI, or just using it in your daily life, it's probably the most important question you can ask. Is the AI you rely on built on a foundation of solid fact? Or is it all just built on assumption?